Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your AEW Dynamite post show. Starting off tonight, man, we got the Babes of Wrath taking on Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm in the women's tag team final, where the winner will be the new AEW women's tag team champions. The match itself, man, it was a good match. It was a back and forth matchup between the Babes of Wrath and Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm, with Willow and Toni Storm both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Willow then hits a senton off the apron, taking out Mina and Toni. Mina and Toni then were keeping the pace of the match, with Mina applying a figure four leg lock on Harley Cameron in the middle of the ring. Storm then hits a Storm Zero for a near fall. Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Mina hitting a devastating spinning back fist on Harley Cameron. Willow then ends up hitting a devastating powerbomb in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match and new AEW Women's Tag Team Champions are the Babes of Wrath. Hats off to the Babes of Wrath for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Gold League Continental Classic tournament matchup. It is Okada taking on Jack Perry. Jack Perry is pretty much coming into the tournament because Darby Allin is unfortunately unable to compete. He is not medically cleared, so Jack Perry took Darby Allin's place in the Continental Classic tournament. The match itself, it was a decent match, man. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Okada and Perry, with Okada keeping the pace of the match. Okada and Perry both exchanged in the middle of the ring, with Okada hitting an elbow drop off the top rope, landing on Jack Perry. Perry gets up, hits a Poison Rana on Okada in the middle of the ring, followed by Perry hitting a running knee on Okada in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Perry then applies a snare trap on Okada, but Okada breaks the hold. Okada then hits a Rainmaker on Jack Perry, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and the winner of 6 points now in the Continental Classic Tournament, is Okada. Hats off to Okada for getting the win in this matchup. After the match, Don Callis' family are here, as well as Don Callis. Don then praises Perry. Don says he wants Perry in the Don Callis family. He also says that he wants to give Perry a signing bonus. Pretty much the money that Don had took from the Young Bucks. Don then asks, "What are you waiting for? What is taking you so long to give me an answer?" Perry then quickly attacks the Don Callis family, but he's outnumbered. Luchasaurus is here, as well as the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks end up attacking the Don Callis family with Luchasaurus. The Young Bucks then hit a BTE trigger on Okada in the middle of the ring. And then the Young Bucks go for a super kick on Don Callis, but Takeshita quickly moves Don Callis out of the way, and Takeshita takes the super kick right to the face. Some interesting stuff there between the Young Bucks and the Don Callis family. Moving on from that, we got Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe comes out the ring. He's greeted by none other than Tony Schiavone. Mark talks about his doubters, or his haters, if you will. He also mocks the doubters. Mark also talks about Daniel Garcia. And then all of a sudden, the Death Riders are here as well. Daniel Garcia, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta. Yuta then mocks Mark Briscoe, as well as Garcia, mocking Mark Briscoe as well. Garcia then tells Mark Briscoe that he's going to be TNT champion. Briscoe then quickly attacks Garcia, but the Death Riders then are holding back Garcia, pretty much setting up their match for the TNT title. Moving on from that, we have a Tornado Tag Team matchup where it is the Ops, Powerhouse Hobbs and Shibata, taking on Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Before the match even gets started, Page and Swerve pretty much walk through the crowd. They end up attacking the Ops Dojo members. Now the match itself, it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between the Ops, Page, and Swerve. Page then puts Hobbs through a table. The Ops then were keeping the pace of the match, with Hobbs hitting a power slam in the middle of the ring. Prince Nana, who was ringside, causes a distraction. This allowed Page to go for a buckshot lariat, but Shibata counters it with a low blow. Swerve then hits a Swerve Stomp in the middle of the ring, followed by Page hitting a fall-away slam, and then Swerve hits a 450 off the top rope. Page and Swerve then put Hobbs through a table on the outside. Page then hits a buckshot lariat. Swerve then hits a house call, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Hats off to Adam Page and Swerve for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have another Gold League Continental Classic Tournament matchup. It is Kyle Fletcher taking on Mike Bailey. Without a shadow of a doubt, man, this was a match of the night. I thought this was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Fletcher and Bailey, with Fletcher keeping the pace of the match. Bailey then hits a Hurricane Rana in the middle of the ring, followed by Fletcher hitting a body slam on Bailey off the barricade. Fletcher and Bailey then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Bailey hitting a backflip into a knee drop, landing on Kyle Fletcher. After that, Bayley then hits a Hurricane Rana off the top on Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher gets up, hits a power bomb on Bayley for a near fall. Bayley then gets up, hits another backflip into a knee drop, landing on Kyle Fletcher. Bayley then lands devastating kick on Fletcher for a near fall. Bayley then hits a shooting star press into a knee drop on Fletcher for a near fall. Fletcher then is trying to get some offense in by hitting a power bomb, sending Bayley onto the apron, followed by Fletcher hitting a brainbuster on Bayley for a near fall. Bayley then somehow gets up, ends up hitting a roll-up on Kyle Fletcher, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and the winner of 3 points in the Gold League Continental Classic Tournament is Speedball Mike Bailey. Hats off to Mike Bailey for getting the win in this matchup. And moving on from that, we go into our main event of AEW's Dynamite. Winner is coming. It is Samoa Joe defending the AEW World Championship against Eddie Kingston. I thought it was a decent match at best. Back and forth matchup between Kingston and Joe, with Joe and Kingston both exchanging in the middle of the ring. Joe then quickly hits a power slam on Kingston for a near fall. Joe then applies an STF on Kingston, but the hold is broken. Kingston then goes for a spinning back fist on Samoa Joe, but Joe counters it with a coquina clutch. Referee sounds for the bell, and your winner of the match and still AEW World Champion is Samoa Joe. Hats off to Samoa Joe for getting the win in this matchup. A couple of things I want to talk about with you guys, man, when it pertains to AEW Dynamite's Winter is Coming. Was it a bad show? No, it honestly wasn't a bad show. And for those people out there saying the show was shitty, look, man, I think at that point you got a lot of hate on AEW, to be honest with you. With that being said, though, were there some concerns coming out of this show? Yeah. And I want to start from the top of the show. We have the women's finals in the tournament, where the winners of this tournament would be crowned the new AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, was the tournament the greatest? No, it was not. I think the tournament kind of fell flat. I think it was lackluster. There was a lot of injuries that were also hindering this tournament. I think Queen Aminata was injured in this tournament as well. Jamie Hayter was pretty much quickly ousted out of this tournament as well, so she didn't really last long in this tournament. So the tournament wasn't the best, and then we get to this tag team final. We had the Babes of Wrath, Willow Nightingale, and Harley Cameron taking on the likes of Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. Now, I told you guys that I had predicted that Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa were going to become victorious and eventually be the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Well, that was not the case. Tony Khan and AEW at the powers of be gave the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships to the Babes of Wrath. Am I against it? No. I think Willow is immensely over with the fans, as well as Harley Cameron. And Willow's been, she was putting the work in. So was Harley Cameron, man. I mean, I'm not against the decision with, Willow and Harley winning the women's, AEW Tag Team Champions. My issue with coming out of this match is, what women's tag team division do we have? And are these tag teams that we saw in the tournament going to stay together for Willow and Harley to actually defend these AEW Women's Tag Team Championships? And that's my biggest concern coming out of last night's Dynamite, especially with that first match. Because in my belief, a lot of those teams that we saw within the confines of this Women's Tag Team Tournament, I don't really necessarily think they're going to be sticking together. I don't see Athena and Monet being a tag team going forward. I don't see Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir being a tag team going forward. I don't see Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata moving forward as, a tag team. You have some tag teams where you got Anna Jay and Ty Mello, who basically have been a team for quite some time, but there's not a lot of women tag teams in AEW. And that could run into a serious issue with the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. Are we going to get something on the line of AEW making these makeshift tag teams just so Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale have, pretty much a chance to defend these women's tag team titles, because there's no there's no women's tag team division technically. So that raises concern for me. Leaving out of AEW show last night is there's really no women's tag team division. So who are they really going to face off against or defend these women's tag team titles against in AEW? A lot of these teams, like I had mentioned earlier, that were in the tournament, I don't see becoming a tag team moving forward. I don't think Athena and Monet are really going to stay as a tag team moving forward. I mean, Athena's doing her thing over at Ring of Honor, being the women's Ring of Honor World Champion. And Monet, she's kind of at a downslope right now. She's starting to lose matches, lose titles. She just recently lost I believe it was the Ring of Honor Women's TV title to Red Velvet. So, we're slowly seeing the pace here where Monet is going to be on a losing streak possibly and start to slowly lose these titles that she's collected over some time now. So I don't know if she's really going to be wanting to team up with Athena or vice versa. So that was one of my concerns coming out of AEW Dynamite last night. The other biggest thing too, man, and I might be, moving right to the main event, but I think the other biggest downfall was the main event. Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. Look, I respect the hell out of Kingston, and I respect the hell out of Samoa Joe. But, number one, I don't think this Samoa Joe title run is going to be all that great. I think, honestly, it's going to be dog shit, to be honest with you. Because the fact of the matter is, bro, there's really not a lot of top contenders right now to challenge Samoa Joe. And now that Joe had beat Kingston, you really had to ask yourself what's next for Samoa Joe. Are they going to run it back with Adam Page? You know what I mean? And then you look at something like with Eddie Kingston, where I stressed this last week, that the storyline in itself was Eddie Kingston and Hook. Because Eddie Kingston and Hook, at one time when Kingston came back from injury, they were a makeshift tag team. And then Hook ultimately left Eddie Kingston and Hook joined the Ops, or rejoined the Ops. So the story in itself was between Hook and Eddie Kingston. But it seems like AEW and Tony Khan just didn't give a shit about that. We're going to move Eddie Kingston past Hook and give Eddie Kingston an automatic AEW World Title opportunity when he just came back from injury, and he really hasn't done a whole lot to really grant himself a title opportunity. The reason why Kingston got this opportunity is because there is nobody else. That I can't put it any more, blatant than that. I mean, there's really nobody else right now that can challenge Samoa Joe. And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, most likely they might be running it back with Adam Page and Joe at World's End. My other big issue with this shit is too, bro, is where in the hell is MJF? Last night was the perfect opportunity for a return of MJF at Winter is Coming. Absolutely. MJF could have showed up, and, it could have had some speculation for us going into this year's World's End. There was no sign of MJF at all. I don't know where the hell. I think he's filming a TV show or filming a movie, but he's been off the scene for a little while. He needs to come back. And again, MJF has an AEW World Title contract that he has to cash in, but the stickler with that is that he has to give Tony Khan a week's notice with cashing that in to get that World Title shot opportunity. So that needs to happen like next week, going into Dynamite. And on top of that, it was already announced that next week, I believe it's Holiday Bash, if I'm not mistaken, that they're having a Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. So again, and that's currently being held by MJF. Now, my other issue with that is I do not want to see MJF return to be in this Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. I can give a rat's ass about that. MJF needs to come back and put Samoa Joe on notice for that AEW World Title. There needs to be change, bro. There needs to be something, and I mentioned this last week, that AEW, they need to give the fans something that we can actually be invested in and entertained by and actually, have intrigue with, bro. Like, it's like pulling teeth at this point. And, at the end of the day, we need something to be interested in with AEW. And we're not getting it. We're not. Now, credit, if they run it back with Adam Page and Samoa Joe, am I going to entirely hate it? No. But at the same time, too, we've already seen them already have a match now twice, where Page had beat Joe and then Joe had beat Page. I'm tired of seeing the same old shit every single time. It's getting old. Quick. And yeah, I mean, and I don't know much. I know some people wanted me to talk about this whole Netflix thing and Netflix possibly acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't have all the details yet. I don't. So I can't really tell you guys exactly what the hell is going on, because at the end of the day, nobody genuinely knows what the hell is going on. Do I think that the deal is going to go through? It's going to be hell or high water, I think, if Netflix actually gets the deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Because we're also having Paramount trying to counter what Netflix is doing right now with Warner Brothers Discovery and trying to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. So there's going to be, this is going to take some time. And for those people out there that are preying on AEW's downfall or saying, oh, it's over for AEW, bro, it's not. It's not. And not for nothing, even with Netflix trying to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, they're going after HBO, HBO Max, and Warner Brothers Discovery Studios. They're not even touching TNT or TBS. And for what it's worth, TNT and TBS is probably going to turn into Discovery Global. You know what I mean? And again, Paramount is trying to counter Netflix with, I think, is a $108 billion cash offer to acquire the rights of Warner Brothers Discovery. So this is going to be a back and forth pissing match here between Netflix and Paramount to try to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that if Netflix does acquire Warner Brothers Discovery by chance, that it wouldn't have any effect on AEW. No, it will, because if they're trying to acquire HBO and HBO Max, which is right now one of AEW's streaming services, you can watch AEW's pay-per-views through HBO Max, that could jeopardize AEW. But at the same time, you can also watch AEW's pay-per-views also on Amazon as well. So it's not, and don't get it twisted, bro. I mean, even, God forbid, if AEW somehow is not on TBS and TNT, it's not like Tony Khan, or at least I would hope so, try to acquire some kind of other TV deal or a streaming service to showcase AEW's product. I don't think AEW is going to completely shut down from the hands of a Netflix or a Paramount. I genuinely believe that AEW would shut down from their own hands, meaning Tony Khan will ultimately be the person that causes the demise of AEW. I don't think it has anything to do with Netflix or Paramount Plus, to be 100% honest with you. And again, this deal with Netflix, if it goes through, is not going to be available until Q3 next year, in 2026. And there's a lot of shit that has to go through for Netflix to even acquire that deal or get that deal. It's going to take a lot. It's not going to happen overnight. So for those people out there that are worried that, oh my God, AEW is over, or, you know, this, that, or I'm glad AEW is done, it's not going to be the case, bro. It's not. It's not. But I will say this. I mean, AEW, and I've been saying this, I've been preaching this shit for the past, you know, I can't even tell you how long it's been now. AEW's product obviously has progressively gotten worse. And yeah, people can say, well, how can you say that, bro? They're selling out, you know, their shows that they're going to. They're selling out basically next week. Bro, it's 2,500 people compared to the 13,000, 14,000 they were selling out when they had the likes of Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. It's not that much of an astronomical number that they're getting with selling out these shows, bro. When you look at WWE and Raw and SmackDown, they're doing 10,000, 11,000 people. You know what I'm saying? So let's pump our brakes on that shit first and foremost. And secondly, the product and the creative with AEW has progressively gone down. It just, and the thing of it is, bro, it's, I don't know if it's something where they just don't, what Tony Khan's doing, he believes it's working. I really don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and not only that, bro, even last night, like we're running it back with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega for another $1 million match. Like, these money matches are starting to, like, piss me off, man. Like, it's just that whole story in itself with the Young Bucks, oh, we need money, oh, they need money. Like, bro, it's getting old. Like, it's running its course. And that's what I think, that with AEW, bro, I don't think people have to worry about Netflix acquiring AEW or a Paramount or something like that. I think the issue with AEW and the ultimate demise of AEW is going to be within. I think it's going to be Tony Khan, bro. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be from another entity coming in and purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery, the way people think it's going to go down. I just don't. I really don't. I think this company they lost the touch of what they used to do. They lost that passion that they once had when they first came into the fold and actually were a company and actually got on television. They lost that vision that they once had. You know what I mean? Like, at one time, AEW was red hot coming out the gate. With storylines, with creative, with acquiring talent, putting on good matches. And, bro, for the past, like, almost 3 years, it has run flat into the ground. And it's a slow burn, bro. It's a slow bleed, literally. And it's progressively getting worse and worse and worse and worse over time. To a point where people are getting frustrated. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see these other content creators, man, and like people are like, oh man, they're saying the same shit about AEW. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. The reason why they're saying that, bro, is because some of these content creators out there, like myself, genuinely are excited for AEW and want AEW to succeed. They don't want to see the downfall. It's not just because, oh, well, AEW goes away, they're pissed off because they lose content. No, because at the end of the day, you're also a fan I'm also a fan. I'm a fan of AEW. I'm a fan of Raw. I'm a fan of SmackDown. I'm a fan of pro wrestling. I don't want to see the demise of AEW. I really don't. We all can go back in time when we saw the demise of WCW. It pissed me off. It did. I wasn't thrilled about. I mean, I understand it now as I got older why they ended up getting sold. Financials were in the toilet. Talent were already leaving in droves to go over to WWE at that point. Like, things were already in process where WCW was not going to be the same anymore. You know what I mean? You can just see the writing on the wall. Even in, 1999, 2000, you can slowly see the writing on the wall that WCW was not obviously the same of what it once was in, 95 or 96, 97. It just wasn't the same. You know, things have progressively gotten worse for WCW, where it's kind of funny how coming out the gate, AEW was red hot, just like WCW when they were on Monday Night Nitro. And now, as the years go on, it's progressively getting fucking worse. It's like time's repeating itself, whether it's WCW and AEW. You would figure maybe in the beginning it would be a little rocky, a little shaky. And then progressively as time goes on, it gets a little bit better. It gets a little bit more, people get more enthusiastic about it. They get excited about it. They get, interested in it. Now, bro, it's to the point where a lot of people are just leaving AEW in droves and they're not interested in the product anymore. And like I said, I think if, God forbid, somehow AEW is not on TBS or TNT or Discovery Global, they're probably going to get another TV deal, but it's not going to be the amount of money that they received in their last TV rights deal, to be honest with you. And honestly, for what it's worth, I don't think they're worth that money. I just don't. AEW has been a clusterfuck, man. It's been all over the goddamn place. Literally. And I've said it from time and time again. Injuries and people taking time off, it's hurting this company. MJF taking time off, not for nothing, is hurting AEW. In a lot of ways. Because it takes away the excitement, the intrigue from AEW. I know he's off, I think he was celebrating his honeymoon and filming a TV show or a movie or what have you. And hey, God bless. But at the same time, it's also affecting AEW because Tony Khan does not know how to build future stars, bro. It's just the truth. I mean, Christ, bro, at the same time, too, when's the last time we seen Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin? It's been a minute. You know what I mean? We haven't seen the Acclaimed. Where the hell are they? Collision? Ring of Honor? You know what I'm saying? We have one half of the Gun Club. I think Colton is out with injury, I believe. I think it's Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson. Right now a part of the Gun Club, if you will, or Bullet Club Gold. So injuries are hurting this company. Keith Lee has been out for God knows how long. Wardlow, he came back for literally, 5 minutes? And somehow he tore his pec or something like that. He's out for another 8 months because of a torn pectoral muscle. You know what I mean? That his ass was not even on TV for I don't know how long, bro. I mean, when's honestly the last time you've seen Wardlow on television? Or hell, scratch that. When's the last time you've seen Wardlow in a predominant storyline? I think, honestly, for me, the last time I seen him in a storyline that was worth a damn was the whole Wardlow and MJF situation. That was the best story for Wardlow, till, at least in my mind, till this day, that he's had in AEW. You know what I'm saying? It's hurting this company, bro. Having Britt Baker on the shelf, it's hurting this company. You know what I mean? And if you're not going to use her, bro, then get rid of her. You know what I'm saying? Stop keeping her in, Guantanamo Bay and not wanting to use her. It's I don't know. It's bullshit, man. I've said it from the jump. We need to get back to what brought us to the dance. And for those people that, what do you mean by that? Bro, I'm a firm believer. I don't mind, I'm a firm believer, things that, get better over time. And sometimes you have to change shit. But sometimes, bro, there's nothing wrong to go back to what brought you to the dance. There's nothing wrong with going back to what worked. To be honest. Because clearly the shit that's working right now for AEW ain't fucking working. It's just not. It's not. It's not working. There's no storylines. There's no creative. I feel like Tony Khan writes the show the day of that Dynamite goes on the air. It's come on, bro. Take some time to write the show. Me personally, I think Tony Khan needs to take a step back, and there needs to be an on-air GM or somebody else running this show. He can still own AEW, but have somebody else run the show. Tony Khan needs to take a step back, because as far as him being a booker, it ain't it. It's just not it. It's horrible, man. It really is. And again, it's basically, where is the direction of where AEW is going from here? Where are we going into World's End this year? Honestly. We're going to run it back with Samoa Joe and Adam Page for a third time for the AEW World title? Come on, bro. We've already seen that shit twice. Are we going to get something where it's going to be Paige, Swerve, and Samoa Joe in a triple threat for the AEW World Championship? Where's the MJF factor into this? Is he going to cash in that goddamn contract and we're going to get MJF for Samoa Joe? Because not for nothing, I think that needs to happen going into World's End. And for you guys that don't know, there's a lot of history with MJF when it pertains to World's End. We all saw what happened with him and Adam Cole and the person behind wearing the devil's mask. I mean, MJF plays a big factor in what World's End's all about, in my honest opinion. He needs to come back, cash in that goddamn contract, and we get Samoa Joe versus MJF, and they run it back. Where MJF walks out of World's End, AEW World Champion, because that's the shit that needs to fucking happen. It needs to happen. And MJF comes back as that pissed off heel or the person behind the devil's mask again or whatever. This more ruthless aggression type MJF, if you will, when he comes back. That's the shit we need, bro. Because at the point that we're at now, there's so many injuries and shit that are hindering this company. Darby Allin's out. He's injured. Keith Lee's injured. Adam Cole. Who knows if Adam Cole comes back? Jay White's out with injury. Wardlow's out. Will Ospreay's out with a severe neck injury. We don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of top names that are out of this company. Britt Baker's on the shelf right now because they're not using her. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's Sheeta? You know what I mean? Where's Sheeta at? We just saw Rio. She was in the tag team tournament when she was teaming up with Alex Windsor. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know, they signed, Lacey Lane or whatever. What about Katana Chance? They were a tag team in WWE. Let's bring her in and have them face Willow and Harley Cameron. Shit that makes sense, bro. Like, there needs to be change in AEW, and I don't know what the hell it's going to take or what they're going to do, but it needs to happen. Because this shit is a sinking ship. I've been saying it now for the past couple months, bro. Shit needs to fucking change. I gave a rat's ass about that Eddie Kingston match last night, bro. I honestly did. I think Samoa Joe's title run's going to be shit, to be honest with you. And I think they took the belt off Adam Page way too goddamn quickly, to be honest with you. We could have had Swerve come back and run it back with Adam Page for the AEW World title at World's End. Just because the storyline is in itself and the rivalry that is between Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Why the hell not? Like, Samoa Joe, it's just, I don't know, bro. Maybe it's because he's retiring next year. I don't know if he is retiring or not, but Samoa Joe being AEW World Champion, it's not it, man. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's not. They should have kept the belt on Adam Page or gave it to MJF. That's just my opinion, bro. Samoa Joe it doesn't do. What does it do for AEW? He was already Trios champion with the Ops. Like, what is the point of you being Trios champion and AEW World Champion? Like, honestly, and you were tied with the Ops shit. You were dealing with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, and then you were like, the hell with them, now I'm going to go up against Adam Page for the AEW World title. Which I feel like the Ops had some unfinished business with the Death Riders, and that they completely moved past that shit. I mean, hell, Hobbs and Shibata had a match last night with Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. So they completely moved past what the hell they were doing with the Death Riders. So they need to figure shit out, man. And it's getting to a point where the shit is honestly getting just frustrating as all hell, bro. Like, it's almost to a point where I'm getting numb to it anymore. Because it's like, nothing's going to change, man. Nothing. Like I said about the Young Bucks. Like, oh, they're going to have another $1 million tag team match, bro. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, that's your story? Oh, the Young Bucks need their money. Like, that's what y'all are going with, man. And honestly, looking back on it, man, I'm gonna say this too. I think a lot of the shit that CM Punk was saying before he left AEW about how AEW was being ran and how things were going on backstage and shit. I'm not gonna sit here now and say that CM Punk was completely wrong in what he said, because you can see it, bro. Like, this shit, the way this company's being run, bro, it's going right to the goddamn toilet. And I'm not sitting here saying that CM Punk didn't cause some of his own bullshit. He did. So he's not, completely, innocent in what happened with him being released in AEW. I think he was doing everything in his power to get the hell up out of AEW, and he was successful in doing so. But the way things are playing out as of late, especially for the past 2.5 years of AEW, he's not wrong, bro. This company is going in the goddamn toilet. And half the fucking people that don't even, that are there, they don't even want to fucking be there. Kenny Omega doesn't look like he wants to be there, and not for nothing, even Eddie Kingston looks like he didn't even want to be there, bro. We're not getting the same Eddie Kingston that we got before he got injured. We're just not. Like, some of these people look like, and I think Kingston's signed with AEW for another, like, what, couple years, 5 years, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, bro. And a lot of these talents, they just genuinely look like they don't want to fucking be there. They'd rather be anywhere else or wrestling anywhere else right now besides AEW. Why? Because it's a complete and utter shit show, man. Seriously. You got one of the pillars of this company with Kenny Omega that looks genuinely like he doesn't want to fucking be there. Even the Young Bucks look like they're just like, you know what it is. We'll show up, we'll do our thing, and then we're out the fucking door. There's no more excitement. There's no more enthusiasm anymore. There's no more enthused about even showing up for work anymore for AEW. These people don't give a shit, bro. They're just there to collect the fucking check and go home. That's it. They don't give a shit about the fans. They're there to collect the check and go home. And Tony Khan's dumb enough just to keep letting it happen. Because he don't give a shit, bro. He's too delusional and naive to think that what he's doing, oh yeah, what I'm doing is working. No, bro, it's not. The shit ain't working. Clearly. I mean, look at the fucking analytics, man. The proof is in the pudding. AEW has progressively gotten worse rather than getting better over the past 2 years. Like, once y'all signed that new TV rights deal, bro, they pumped the brakes on a lot of shit in AEW. They're like, you know what? We're going to coast it. Because we got our fucking money. So they were doing everything in their power up to that point just to please the powers that be and Warner Bros. Discovery, so they got a decent amount of money in a new TV rights deal. Well, I can tell you right now, bro, you're not going to get that same kind of money going into your next TV rights deal if there is another TV rights deal. You're not. And to be honest with you, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve that amount of money with the product that you're putting out on a weekly basis, whether it's Dynamite or Collision. You don't deserve the money because you don't care about your product. You think what you're doing is working when it's not. At all. You know? And my thing is, like I said, we're going into World's End. It's the last pay-per-view for AEW this year in 2025. Where the hell is MJF? We need something, bro, going into the last pay-per-view of the calendar year for AEW before 2026. Something. Where the hell is MJF? Let's have him cash in that contract and go up against Samoa Joe for the AEW World title, where MJF walks out AEW World Champion, closing the year for AEW as World Champion. That's what we need going into the new year. We need something, bro. We need change. I can't tell you how many times I've told you guys this, man. Like, they need story and creative, like that people need oxygen. Like, they need change, bro. Like, they just need it. Because you can't tell me the shit we've been getting week in and week out, whether it's Dynamite or Collision, bro, is worth it. Why do you guys think I don't cover Collision, bro? Because Collision ain't doing shit either. And I'm not going to waste my goddamn time. I'm just not. It ain't worth it. Because the shit that happens on Collision, it's not like it marinates into AEW Dynamite. It just doesn't. And AEW Dynamite, as far as I'm concerned, is their A show. Just like Monday Night Raw is WWE's A show. The shit's not bleeding into their A show, bro. It's not. So there is some concerns coming out of last night's AEW Winter is Coming show, for sure. The women's tag team division. Who's going to be next for Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale? There's that concern. What's next for Samoa Joe and the AEW World Championship? What's next for that? What's next for Paige and Swerve? There's a lot of questions coming out of what happened last night on AEW Dynamite. Especially going into World's End. We got the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal next week. We might see the return of MJF. I mean, not for nothing, I would not have him return to be a part of that bullshit Battle Royal. To be honest with you. But MJF needs to come back, man. He needs to come back. He needs to sign that AEW World Championship contract. And we get MJF for Samoa Joe. And MJF wins the title and we have him as champion going into the new year. Because we need that change, bro. There needs to be something to bring interest and intrigue with AEW's product, for sure, especially going into the new year. Because if not, like I said, bro, this is a sinking ship, ladies and gentlemen. And like I told you earlier, man, for those people out there that are worried about Netflix or whatever, AEW is coming to an end because of Netflix, I don't think it's going to be because of Netflix, bro. I think it's going to be the powers within AEW, and I think Tony Khan is going to be the person that everybody's going to be pointing the finger at because of the demise and the shutdown, possibly, of AEW. So, we're going to see what happens, man, but hopefully 2026 is going to be a better year for AEW, hopefully, moving forward. But with that being said, though, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.